For this project, we will be using our Sentro 48 machine, and I am using Bernat Softee Cotton Yarn. It's a type 3 yarn, and some waste yarn. And that I have already rolled up the yarn that I will be using for our project into this little cake. It makes it easier for me to make my project, and I unwind it from the outside of the cake. And so we will cast on with our project yarn going in front and behind each peg all the way around for the first row. And now we will complete a series of 40 rows. Now that we've completed our 40 rounds, we will now put our yarn into the center of our machine, and then we will add our waste yarn, and we will complete a series of 10 rows. And once we have finished our 10 rows, we will drop the end of our waste yarn in the center, and then we will crank it one more time to cast off our yarn. And now we will give our project a gentle tug. And now we will find our end where we cast on with our project yarn, and we will cinch that end closed. It's okay if you leave just a little bit of hole. We will come back to that in a few minutes. And now you can set your project aside, and we can start working with our wire hanging basket. This is one that I had got from the Dollar Tree. I only paid $1.25 for it, so we're going to remove the tag, and we're going to remove the chain and the hook from the cage. So now you will stretch the cover over the basket and temporarily secure it by looping over where the chain hooks to the basket. Pass your yarn through to the inside. And now I am using the Clover 6mm J hook to crochet my cover to the basket. And now I'm going to find my first loop, and I'm going to put my hook underneath the wire, and then I'm going to slip stitch, and then I'm going to make a single crochet around the wire. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to put my hook underneath the wire again and make a single crochet, and then I'm going to chain 2, and you'll see here in just a minute a more clear instructions. So you're going to go under the wire through the next stitch, and then you're going to make a single crochet, and then you will chain 2. You're going to put your hook into the loop underneath the wire, make a single crochet, and then chain 2. And now keep in mind that your yarn is going to be behind the wire, so like on the inside. And so now I'm going to single crochet and chain 2. Now the way that my basket is set up is that there are 9 little dividers, and then I have 3 loops where the chain will go. So in each little divider place thing, open area, I'm going to place 6 of the single crochet chain 2s into that area. And then in the next 2 areas, I'm going to make 5 of those repeats. And now that we've come to our last stitch, we are going to insert our hook underneath the first chain that we made at the beginning of the round. and then we're going to pull up a loop and we're going to slip stitch. And now I've pulled up a loop long enough, and then I'm going to put my working yarn into the middle of the basket. And now we are going to unravel our waste yarn from around the basket. And now this is what our basket will look like. Don't worry if there are gaps underneath the wire, we will be hiding those in the next step. And now we are going to take our 5mm hook and we're going to insert that into the loop. We're going to chain 1, and then we are going to work 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space that we made from the previous row. And now in the next stitch, we are going to make a slip stitch, and that is the single crochet that we worked from the previous row. We're just going to slip stitch there. And then we are going to make 3 more double crochets into the next chain 2 space. And you're going to do this all the way around your basket. You will be making the 3 double crochets into the chain 2 space, and then you will be making a slip stitch into the single crochet from the previous row. Once we have finished making our 3 double crochets, we are now going to slip stitch into the space between our starting slip stitch and our first double crochet. We're just going to slip stitch that. Then we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to cut our yarn, and we're just going to pull through our tail and secure that. And you can now flatten out your work to cover up those spaces, and you will see this beautiful scallops that we have made to finish off our basket. And now to finish off, we're just going to weave in our tail. We're going to thread it to the inside, and then we're just going to weave it back and forth into the stitches underneath. And now once you've done weaving in your ends, you can now snip that end. And now we are going to work on the bottom of the basket. You're going to thread your yarn through your needle, and you're going to go through those stitches, cinching up as you go. And what this does is that it secures those stitches. You can do that once or twice, and then you can insert your needle through to the inside of the basket. And now what I'm doing here is completely optional. What I am doing is just going through the center and making, I'm going from over the little circle that's in the middle and going on, and then going underneath it, going through the inside of the liner, and then doing that all the way across every third divider. And now we are going to knot off our project. We're going to make little knots on the inside to secure the liner and the loops that we made. And we can weave them at our end. We've cut our yarn tail. We can now attach the chain and the hook back to the basket. And then when I secure them, I make sure that the clasps are facing outwards so that they don't get snagged on any of the yarn or any of the items that I will be putting into my basket. And now it's ready to be hung up. And now you have a beautiful basket to display. You can use it for yarn storage for in your craft room, wherever you craft at. You can also put crafting supplies in there. And here I have also put some stuffed octopus that I have made and intend on putting out for sale on my craft booth. Again, look at those beautiful details of the scallops. And you can also take the chain off and display it as a plain basket on your table.